Now it's time to do some art. Now it's time to paint. Now it's time to do some art. Now it's time to paint. Our theme for art this term is going to be food. And our first activity is to make a picture of some lovely, delicious cupcakes, just like this one. So the first step of making our cupcakes is to do the marbling effect that we're going to use for the icing. So we're going to do some shaving foam marbling. So our first step here is to take some shaving foam. Now this one that I've got was about £1, but you can buy even cheaper cans for about 70p from Tesco. Make sure you get shaving foam and not shaved gel, which I've done before. It doesn't work with shaved gel. So this is the fun bit of the activity really. So we want to layer either a tray or a mat or a plate or something flat with the shaving foam. So I'm going to give it a bit of a shake and spray. Another wee shake there. I'm going to put plenty out for this example. Now at this stage we want to stop and explore the shaving foam. Like I said, this is the fun bit of the activity, so take some time to smell the shaving foam, touch it with your hands, maybe even get some feet in there if you enjoy exploring materials with your feet. It's really soft and really tactile and loads of fun to kind of play about with. So take your time on this bit. This is half the fun of making art, is playing with the materials, exploring the materials, using all your different senses. Smelling the shaving foam, it smells lovely. Then we want to kind of smooth it out into a flat surface once we're finished playing with it. So for that, I'm going to use this plastic palette knife, but you could use anything smooth, maybe an old credit card or even a knife. So we get it doesn't need to be perfect, but a kind of roughly flat rectangle of the shaving foam. Next we're going to add some paint. Now I've got some ready mix paint here. I've chosen a couple of colours that I thought might work well together, a nice kind of lemon yellow and a pale green. But you can choose any colours you want. You can have one colour, you can have as many colours as you choose. So I'm going to start with the green, and I'm just going to give the tub a little gentle squeeze and kind of dribble it randomly all over. Don't need loads of paint. I'm going to do the same with the yellow. There we go. That's probably as much of paint as we want. We want to still have quite a bit of white space around the paint. Then I'm going to use my fingers to play with the paint and marble it. So you can either get your hands stuck in, or if you're a little bit tactile defensive and don't want to touch the paint, you can use a pencil or something else that you can hold and move around in the space. But I'm going to get my hands stuck in because I like getting messy, so I'm just going to swirl it a little bit. Now this bit we don't want to overwork it too much. I'm just going to touch here and there, get a nice wee swirly effect, and I'm going to stop there. I'm just wiping my hands off, so I've got nice clean hands now. And then next I'm going to take some paper and I'm going to place my paper flat, gently on top of the rectangle that I'd created. Now this is just printer paper, and actually it's probably the kind of paper that works the best. You don't want expensive fancy art paper. Just your kind of typical printer paper actually works really well for marbling because it doesn't absorb too much of the moisture. Just with very gentle hands, I'm going to give it a pat, pat, pat all over. I'm not pushing it right down into the shaving foam, just making sure that the paper's made contact with the shaving foam all over. And I'm going to peel it off. I'm going to move my tray out the way and sit my paper down here. And then I'm going to go back to whatever I was using before to make them a nice flat surface. And this time I'm going to use my palette knife, or you can use your credit card or whatever it was you were using. I'm going to scrape off all of that shaving foam. So I'll start at the bottom and go along in a line in rows, and I'm going to scrape it off, and I'm just going to pop that shaving foam back in the tray over there. Because you can do this activity as many times as you like, and you can reuse the same shaving foam to make many prints and add different colours each time. Try marbling a little more, a little less each time, see all the different effects that you can get. So there we go. That's given me my nice marbly effect. And hopefully it should look something a bit like swirly cupcake icing. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this piece of paper over, and on the back I'm going to use a pencil. Now I think most people will need some support with this, with whoever is helping you with this activity. To draw kind of rough cupcake shape, I'm going to go for a wee kind of pointy, sort of almost like an onion shape. There. And then we're going to cut that shape out. Again, you might need some support with this part of the activity. It's easier to wait until the paper is completely dry to cut it out, because wet paper can sometimes tear when you're cutting it. But if you're careful, you might be able to do it when it's still slightly damp. Here we go. Ta-da! And I've got another one here that I made earlier in different colours. So I've got a couple of different flavours for my cupcake frosting. So to bring our cupcake pictures all together, we need some cupcake cases. So I've got some cases here. And I'm just going to fold the case over, and I'm just going to fold these edges up just to give it that sort of shape. And I'll do the same with this one. There we go, that's my cupcake case. If you don't have cupcake cases, you could make your own from tissue paper or coloured paper. I've got a piece of yellow paper here. I've chosen that as I thought that would be a nice backdrop colour for my cupcakes. And then all there is left to do is glue all the pieces together. So I'm just using a glue stick or Pritt stick here, just to apply some glue to the back of the frosting part of my cupcake. And I'm going to do the same, just put some glue on the back of the cupcake case and get that stuck down in place. And the same for this second one here. You can use PVA glue if you'd prefer, or if that's easier for you with a spreader. My Pritt stick's got a little bit dried up here, so it's a bit tough. Here we go. And that's my cupcake picture. Finished. So I hope you had fun making your cupcake pictures. I know I had fun making mine. Now it's time for us to finish our activity. I'd love to see pictures of yours, so when you are finished yours, can you please send them to me? That would be great, thank you. Art is finished, art is finished, now it's time to stop. Now it's time to stop. Now it's time to stop.